been a very busy day of doing nothing. I actually literally have been catching up on a good book. So this video is about being misgendered, and which is kind of weird for me to talk about because I'm actually being misgendered as the gender that I identify with, but yet if you take, people will take a double take and then like retract a little bit, so then it gets weird. So I'm gonna talk about my experience and how I have been dealing with that, I guess. In fact, because it happened today, which is why I'm making this video. So I never got misgendered prior to shaving my head, so it's been like a year, and in the last year I probably got misgendered 3 times, I want to say. Only one of which was they didn't realize that I was actually like a girl, which is cool. So the first time I ever got misgendered, we had went up to like this like deli truck kind of thing, and I got my food, and the guy was like super chill, and he was like here you go, boss. And like the way that he interacted with me and the fact that he was like called me boss, like I knew that he didn't know that I was a girl. So I was like, sweet, he totally didn't know. Now, I mean, I've always dressed like more masculine, but I don't go out of my way to pass as male. So I remember this day because it was the first time it ever happened, and I had my hood up, and like there was a big counter also. So yeah, it made me feel like really good, and I was like, sweet. Like I already felt like, even though it was like one word, I already felt like an equal member of society, which is fucked. But versus like names that you would call like a woman, or like miss, or you know, whatever it is, it automatically, like being called boss is just like, you're just like an equal person with this guy, and it was pretty cool. And then the second time, I was in a store, I think I was in like CVS, and I was just walking out, and I know I had my glasses on, I wasn't wearing a hat, I didn't have a hood up either because I was at work, and one of the guys was like stocking shelves or whatever, and he was like, have a good day, sir. And I was like, thank you. And I just kept, and I walked out. But then I could tell that when he had looked at me, he was like, oh shit, but he didn't say that, but I could tell in his face. But I didn't correct him because I was like, sweet. And at the same point, I was also like, let's not make this more awkward for you than it already is. And then the third time was today, and I was getting my oil changed, and I'm not gonna lie, I was looking pretty sexy. I was wearing like this black hoodie with this leather jacket, and I had my glasses on, and it fitted. I mean, I would have looked at myself and been like, I wanna fuck you. Yeah. So I was getting my oil change, and then the guy came in and he just like, he went to go say sir, and I like kind of like turned, and he stopped, and I was like, sweet. And he's like, oh, like here's your oil. And I was like, sweet. But that like hiccup he had, I was like, this is awesome. So for anything, it makes like the other person who's doing the misgendering feel uncomfortable, because I could tell in their face, and I could tell in their like stutter. But for me, it doesn't really have an effect on me. Like I don't go out of my way to pass as male, so I don't expect to be noticed as male. But when it does happen, it's like, okay, I mean, that's cool. Like I don't really feel any type of way, except that it feels good and it feels weird, and I haven't had the opportunity to actually correct somebody, and I don't actually think I would. So that's my experiences being misgendered so far, thus far. And overall, I mean, it is what it is. I actually was at the doctor's office probably like a month ago, and there was a therapist who came in to talk to the doctor, and she had saw my name on like the sign-in sheet, and she asked me if I already like rescheduled my appointment, and I said yes, and she asked me if I wanted to be called like my first name, and I was like, I mean, yeah, I guess, like my real name. And I said yeah, and she goes, are you sure, because I can call you something else. And no one's ever just like looked at me and been like, do you have another name you go by? You know, like she was very in tune with like just the way I presented myself and the way that I spoke, and she was very nice, and I could tell by the way that she was asking me that she like could tell someone was up with me, I guess. I don't know. It was something I hadn't experienced before, and then I felt kind of judged, and I was like, what? I mean, it was nice, but at the same point, like I kind of didn't know how to react. I was like, yeah, you could just call me my first name, that's fine. I mean, if it was like a friend, if it was somebody else I was gonna be seeing a lot, I would just be like, call me Wedge, because I go by Wedge. But because like this is a doctor's office, I was just like, sure, just call me that, it's fine. My birth name. So yeah, I don't know. That was more uncomfortable than being misgendered, to be honest. I don't know. Just interesting things to think about, I guess. But yeah, that's my story, and I don't think it's a really helpful one. It was just like my experience, but hope everybody has a happy and safe Halloween. I already celebrated Saturday, so I'm just gonna like hide out from all the children that can't reach my 4th floor apartment. So holler. That's all I gotta say. We're done.